very special edition of Region Sportsdesk. This is an abbreviated version. Today, we're only going to be talking about one football game, the big football game. To a lot of people, this might be the game of the year, and we're only in week 4. There's been so much hype talked about this game on my Facebook page. So we're going to go ahead, talk about this game a little bit, break it down, and I'm going to give my pick. Leave your comments, let me know what you think. Obviously, we've had a lot of threads started on this on my page. We've had a lot of smack talk, so I don't expect it to stop when I put this up online. Kankakee Valley taking on Hobart. The Cougars, they come into this game 3-0. They have victories over Rensselaer, Wheeler, and Lowell last week. They've won 2 traveling trophies, the Cracker Barrel and the Milk Can. So the Milk Can for the very first time since its inception in 1993. Hobart, on the other hand, they're 2-1. They beat Westside very handily in week 1. Week 2, lost a tough one to Crown Point. Crown Point pulls away in the 4th quarter, and they defeat Hobart. But then week 3, Hobart they pound Griffith 38-13, and here we are, week 4. Huge game, NCC implications perhaps. You know, this game could have a huge impact on who ends up taking the conference. If we're talking about offense, you know, I've watched the film. I've seen, I watched Hobart against Griffith. I've seen actually all 3 of KV's games. When I break it down, offensively, the run game, KV's got a great run game. You know, they've got a good 1-2 punch there. Tyler Berkey and Keegan Higgins, and of course, the quarterback, Bolin, he also gets involved when they're running option. They run a lot of wishbone. Their base offense is basically kind of a jumbo package. They run a wishbone, true wishbone set with one receiver flanked out to one side of the field, and they basically play power football. They're gonna run a lot of plays up the gut, off tackle. And that's kind of their bread and butter. And Tyler Berkey has had an incredible season so far through 3 games. He's got over 550 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns. I mean, he's put up some monster numbers for the Cougars. Hobart, on the other hand, they've also done a very efficient job running the football. They run a lot of misdirection. You know, they'll run a lot of plays up the gut, with Ian Droback, but they'll also, mix in some plays along the edge. You know, they've got some great playmakers, and Devereaux and Anthony Burgos. They've got a number of different players that will carry the football. So they're a little more, diverse in what they do as far as the run game's concerned. It's really close. I mean, if I'm to break this down, the run game, I could go either way with it, but I think I'm going to give a slight edge to KB. You know, not only are they, very efficient, they do a great job moving the chains, but the stats don't lie. You run for over 500 and some odd yards in 3 games. You know, he's easily, Berkey's easily one of the top leading rushers in Northwest Indiana right now. I got to give the edge, a slight edge to KV in the run game. Now let's go to the pass. This is where things completely change for me. Hobart, they got one of the best passing quarterbacks, probably the best passing quarterback in the Northwest Crossroads Conference. You might have a little argument for Matt DeSomer of Andran, but Barris is an incredibly efficient passing quarterback. And of course, he has one of the top playmakers, probably the top receiver in the conference, in Anthony Burgos. He's got exceptional speed. He's got great agility. He's just a flat-out stud. He's a great playmaker. He does a great job of getting behind the defense. He's a threat to score every time he touches the football. Their passing game is very, very solid. You know, they have a very good complementary passing game. They're more of a balanced team than what Kankakee Valley is. You talk about the Cougars, I'm not sure they know what a passing game is yet. Down there in Wheatville, they don't throw the football. They don't do it. They really haven't shown the ability to do it. That's a real concern to me. Through 3 games, I think they've only thrown 2 or 3 passes total. They've been in some long yardage situations, some passing situations. They still run the football. And right now, I'm not convinced they can throw the football. I think, it's basically pound, 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 ground and pound or die. They're not going to change what they do. Hopefully they worked out it in practice, because I haven't seen it. In all the film I've watched, they just run, run, run. No passing game at all. Huge advantage. Huge advantage to the Brickies in the passing game. If we look at defensively, Hobart has done a great job through 3 weeks. Now in week 2, Crown Point, they put up 37 points. One of those touchdowns was a defensive touchdown, a fumble recovery. They also scored a touchdown late in garbage time. So in reality, Hobart gave up probably about 3 touchdowns defensively in that ball game. The week 1 game against Westside, I pretty much don't even count that. I look at last week against Griffith. They did a great job of containing their run game, and more importantly, containing their playmaker at Austin Brown. They've just done a real solid job, against one-dimensional teams. They really shut down Westside, and of course, last week against Griffith. Griffith doesn't have a potent passing attack, but they did a good job of filling the gaps and shutting down the run. KV, on the other hand, they've done a great job of stopping the run. But, there's a couple of asterisks, I guess, as to what they've really accomplished. Rensselaer, to my surprise, they came out throwing the football. They came out in the spread. They threw the football a lot. And to be honest, they had a lot of success throwing the ball, but running-wise, they didn't run the ball a whole lot. Wheeler, they're completely rebuilding as a team. They're not a very good team right now. They lost almost everybody from last year's team. Boone Grove blew out Wheeler, so I don't really count that game as, and that's just padding stats to me. Last week against Lowell, they hurt George Fields. They set him out of the game, and they basically shut down the run game. Who knows what would have happened had he stayed healthy? But without him, certainly Lowell's a different team. He's really the only playmaker they have on their offense. So it made things a lot easier for KV's defense. So the passing-wise, not even close. KV really struggled against Rensselaer stopping the pass. Hunter Hickman just passed them to death. He threw for almost 180 yards, through the air. He also ran for 80 or 90 yards on the ground. He kind of did it all. But passing-wise, they gave up some big plays. That's something that really concerns me. KV gave up some big plays through the air. They shut down Wheeler really well, but the one touchdown that they had was a long pass play. And these teams do not have a playmaker that's near the quality of a Burgos. It's not as quick, not as athletic. He gets behind the defense, he's gone. They're not going to catch him. So, as far as I'm concerned, Hobart has a huge advantage defensively, because not only did they shut down Griffith and they shut down Westside, they do a decent job against the pass, but KV really hasn't shown they can throw the football. So I'm going to say defensively, Hobart's got a huge advantage. Special teams. Once again, Hobart has one of the best kickers, probably the best kicker in Northwest Indiana. Del Grosso hit a 53-yarder against Crown Point. He routinely kicks the ball in the back of the end zone on kickoffs. And last week they had a kickoff return for a touchdown against Griffith. KV, they gave up a kickoff return against Rensselaer. And their kicking game is okay, but not near to the extent of what Hobart's is. Huge advantage to the Brickies. They have a great return game, and they have the best kicker. That could prove to be a huge, huge weapon in this ball game. So special teams-wise, I'd go to Hobart. But here's where things get really interesting. Hobart is a better team on paper. Look at the resume, they played tougher competition. Crown Point and Griffith. Tougher competition than playing Lowell and Rensselaer and Wheeler. You think about the schedule as a whole, Hobart has played a much tougher schedule. But with KV, there's the motivation factor. I look at it as KV is trying to build something. They're trying to build a good football program for the first time in their history. They've won one sectional championship in the history of their football program in 1985. That was the only time they ever won a sectional. And The last time they were 4-0 was 1995. So it's been a long time since KB can really say that they've had any kind of success on the football field. KB is trying to build something for the first time ever. Hobart, on the other hand, I mean, you see it. They've got tradition, they've got history. And right now, they think they're restoring the glory. They're bringing back all that. That's what they think. And to them, or to a lot of the fans, I think they look at this game as not a real, they don't look at it as a big game. They think it's just another pushover. This is another KV team. They're going to push around. Not going to be much of a contest. Game should be over at halftime. They don't look at it the same way that the KV fans, coaches, players, those people look at the game a lot differently. For KV, this game means everything. Because not only do they go to 4-0 for the first time since 1995, but they show that they've arrived. They're a contender. They have a chance to maybe win the conference championship. They've never done that. So this game for KV is everything. To Hobart, it's just another game. But on the other hand, KV's won this matchup 2 of the last 3 years. They brought back almost all their starters from last season. Last season they beat Hobart, at Hobart, on their turf. To the people that say, well, KV's not fast enough, they don't have they don't have the team speed that Hobart does. Well, it didn't really show last year. KV made it happen last year, so why can't they make it happen this year? Motivation factor, KV, no question about it. So now I got to make a prediction. I look at all phases of the game. I look at all the chatter that's been talked about on Facebook. We've had a lot of smack talk on both sides, most of them coming from Hobart people. I think for the most part, they've motivated KV's football team, and I think you're going to see a lot of that pour out on the field, at least in the first half. You're going to see a lot of emotion, you're going to see a lot of adrenaline. Initially, KV is going to come out fired up. They're going to play in front of their home crowd. It's going to be packed over there. They're going to bring everybody for this ball game, because the whole community knows this is a huge game for them. So initially, KV is going to come out fired up, and I think defensively you're going to see some big hits. They're going to make a statement early in the ball game. But here's my concern. KV has not shown they can throw the football at all this entire season. 3 games. If Hobart gets the lead, they get in front. Cougars get behind. What's going to happen? Do they have the ability to throw the football a little bit when they need to? They get in those 3rd and long situations, are they going to be able to pass? That's a big concern for me. They haven't shown that they can do it at all this entire season, and I'm not convinced that they can do it. I think they haven't done it because they don't have the confidence to do it. So, hopefully for their sake, they've been working on it in practice, because I think in this game, they're going to need to do it. Hobart, they got a more explosive offense. They have a more balanced attack. They've got a real solid run game, but they also have a quarterback that can wing it, that can throw it. I think him and Hunter Hickman have a lot in common. Hickman kind of passed these guys to death. KV's got a really solid front 7, but I'm concerned about their secondary. And if Hobart wants to go deep, they could have some success. Because I don't think there's anybody on that field that's going to stop Burgos one-on-one. So when you add the fact that Hobart has a more balanced attack, they still have a very good defense. They've shown the ability to shut down the run. But especially when you're facing a team that is as one-dimensional as KV is, that's a big concern. I think Burke is going to get his yards. I think other guys like Higgins and Bolin, they're going to have to step up. They're going to need other players on their offense to make plays, and they're going to have to throw the football. I think in the end, Hobart in the second half is going to pull away. You add in the special teams, along with a more balanced offense, Hobart is going to win this football game. I'm going to say 28-14. The Brickies win by 2 scores. They pull away, and they win this one. I'm not saying it because I don't like the Cougars. I just think Hobart is flat out the better football team.